Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel, and oh, what a day! XRP has been leading the market in terms of price, breaking a 2-year downtrend. This is big news. Now, most of what I have to say about price, I'm going to cover in a separate video. I feel like that definitely deserves its own special video for the day. But this is very significant. Take a look at the headline. XRP volume flips Bitcoin on crypto exchange Bitso as Ripple gains traction in Mexico. That's the latest from dailyhodl.com. Now here's another article from bitcoinist.com. Why XRP has higher trading volumes than Bitcoin in Mexico. Now you would think that's some sort of declarative statement, as if we're now going to explain why, but they made sure to put a question mark at the end of that, just to be like, but why? This doesn't make no damn sense. And they end up kind of questioning the degree to which it matters, but, you know, bitcoinist.com. I'll give you the details. And take a look at this article from dailyhodl.com. 900 million XRP exit Ripple escrow wallet as crypto startup prepares for February. But before we go any further, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you would please, ever so delicately, just give a little love tap to the like button. You don't got to smash it, though. Only dorks smash it. And look, I know you're super strong and super cool. You don't got to prove it to me. I already believe in you. You're an incredible person. And also, consider subscribing to the Moon Lambo channel if you have not. Now, I know it's a big life decision. You don't have to take the plunge right now as I'm saying this. You might feel a little pressured. You don't have to do it right this second. Maybe sleep on it, revisit in the morning, and if it feels right for you, then come back and go ahead and subscribe. There you go. That's a reasonable approach. But for now, let's go ahead and dive in. XRP volume flips Bitcoin on crypto exchange Bitso as Ripple gains traction in Mexico. And this is of paramount importance to me because the reason for this article existing, it comes down to utility, and my entire investment thesis involves the importance of actual utility, because it is that utility matters and will ultimately win the day. By a wide margin, XRP is now the top-rated cryptocurrency paired with the peso on Mexico's largest crypto exchange, Bitso. CoinMarketCap reports that Ripple's native currency... You know that really burns my biscuits. Ripple does not have a native currency. Absolutely not. XRP is a decentralized cryptocurrency utilizing distributed ledger technology. You know the one that burns my biscuits even more than that is when this happens from time to time. I still see it. Some crypto media outlets will state that Ripple is the parent company of XRP. And it's just one of those things where it's like, audible sigh, facepalm. It's the parent company. No damn sense. But anyway, I'll just read it as stated. CoinMarketCap reports that Ripple's native currency has leapfrogged Bitso's Bitcoin/MXN pairing with, and I'll round the numbers here, $5.1 million in XRP volume compared to $806,000 for Bitcoin at time of publishing. And so that's more than 5 times as much. And I'm no math wizard, but I think that's accurate. The volume is due in part to Bitso's partnership with Ripple. You think? The exchange facilitates Ripple's XRP-powered cross-border payment solution called On-Demand Liquidity, assisting money transfer giant MoneyGram in moving 10% of its daily transaction volume between Mexico and the U.S. Now, actually, the last stated number that we're aware of was 15%, but for some reason, none of crypto media is picking up the latest figure of 15%. And I suspect it's even higher than that, because if you look at the liquidity index, all-time highs, we just keep smashing through them. This has to be largely due to MoneyGram ramping up adoption. I would suspect, anyway. It's a fair bit of speculation. I think it's reasonable. Says Daniel Vogel, the CEO and co-founder of Bitso, in a recent interview, quote, "We are finally capitalizing in the huge cross-border flow that exists between the United States and Mexico, which is between $30 and $36 billion a year. We've built the product alongside with Ripple, and we're seeing a significant amount of traction, and we believe that this is just the beginning of something. The stretch goal that I have set for the company is that we get to 20% of the weekly remittances between the U.S.-Mexico corridor by the end of 2020. That's a massive jump up. I can't remember the most recent figure I saw, but I thought, wasn't it more like 2%? Am I mistaken? Am I tripping? I think, seriously, it was somewhere closer to that, at least for 2019. Yeah, it's going to ramp up here. It's so exciting to see, because amidst all this price action that we're seeing for XRP, which is primarily speculative, it's going to be like that for quite a while, And there will always be speculation associated with the crypto asset class, just like stocks. There are other asset classes. People are just speculating perfectly fine. It happens in mature asset classes as well. But what's interesting to me is, so we're breaking out of this 2-year downward trend in terms of XRP price action, and it really mostly has to do with that. So can you imagine if you could fast forward like another 5 or 10 years, how massive the usage of XRP is going to be and the amount of confidence that'll instill in further investing in XRP? I can only imagine what that would do for price. And I want to be clear, I'm not stating that to hype it up. I think that that's a fair reason to be hopeful and optimistic in terms of investing in XRP. But since I am stating that, I also want to be really clear that I don't have a financial background, and I'm not offering financial advice, so don't buy or sell because of any of that. I'm just sharing a positive, optimistic outlook that I have, because I think all of this is intertwined, and I think utility matters tremendously. Now, Vogel also says his team is looking to expand into other parts of Latin America, and here's another quote. We just launched a beta in Argentina, which should become a full-blown experience starting next month, and we have a team in Brazil that is actively looking into Brazil. It's an interesting jurisdiction because it's a large market. It's the largest economy in Latin America. Oh yeah, well, I'll tell you what, all sorts of corridors are getting built out here, and Latin America is huge for this. Ripple launched its XRP remittance product in October 2018, and its U.S.-Mexico corridor recently hit an all-time high in daily volume, according to the Liquidity Index bot. And here's Bitcoin is now covering the same story. Why XRP has higher trading volumes than Bitcoin in Mexico? Question mark. And that's why my voice is going up like that. So a question mark at the end of a statement because they're Bitcoinist, and they can do that, I guess. Now, they mostly covered what was cited in the previous article, but I do want to jump down to the bottom here, because they have this little subheading. XRP, because mind you, this is amidst good news, right? Here's the subheading. XRP still fights for volumes. RippleNet acceptance. Oh, the struggle is real for XRP. BitSo volumes remain relatively small and are yet to signal the demand for XRP trades. Way to rain on our parade here. Come on. Can't you just call something good if it is? Oh, my lord. And then, currently BKX is one of the most liquid XRP markets based on self-reported volumes on CoinMarketCap. XRP is also relatively active on Binance and is one of the assets with the biggest potential to decouple from Bitcoin. So at least they acknowledge that. As far as decoupling of XRP from Bitcoin, though, I think we got a ways to go. There's no inkling that that is in the cards anytime soon if you just look at chart data. I don't see it. I see humans mostly behaving the same as they were a couple years ago, even though many cryptocurrency projects, because there are over 5,000 cryptocurrencies, which is way too damn much if you ask Moon Lambo, they're still out there. Many of them fine, they're defunct. There's almost no trading volume for the vast majority. Who knows what's going to happen with when altcoin season really ramps up here? It's probably going to look, if I had to guess, a little bit different than 2017. But the coins that people still are trying to figure out, and the ones that make sense for them to exist, XRP, I suspect that there's a bright future for that. Even in the short to midterm, if you look at the way things are going now. Again, not financial advice. I'm just sharing an opinion with you, damn it. Now take a look at this. 900 million XRP exit Ripple escrow wallet as crypto startup prepares for February. Ripple just moved a massive amount of XRP out of an escrow wallet to 3 separate wallets owned by the San Francisco Payments Company. In total, Ripple transferred 900 million XRP worth about $228 million in 3 separate transactions. Each transaction settled in a matter of seconds, and the combined cost of the fees involved was less than a penny. Stop and think about that. Can we? I know you guys know. Can we sit here and appreciate something like that? I'm telling you, as far as the legacy financial system is concerned, moving money instantaneously, that amount, $228 million worth of XRP, in a matter of seconds, costing less than a penny for the transaction, is it not plain to see how fundamentally transformative this technology is? Come on, it's not going away. And I'll tell you what, if you don't think it's XRP that's going to solve this problem, you tell me what you think is. And, of course, the Bitcoin maxi types would just say, well, you just use Bitcoin. You don't need all of these intermediaries. Forget the correspondent banking system. We'll just all use Bitcoin and live harmoniously. And, it just to Bitcoin maxis make sense. And use Bitcoin as money, even though it's slow and costly and all this good stuff. No, you don't need to take a hammer to the entire system. And people around the world, there are too many entities around the world and governments that would not want that. So just speeding up and improving part of the existing system while replacing Swift as much as that is possible, that makes a whole lot more sense, does it not? Next, here's a tweet from Poochie, who tagged me along with some others in the XRP community. I wanted to highlight this and shout out to you, Poochie. I appreciate it. And he wrote, is XRP price finally breaking away from Bitcoin price action? And you can see here's a little image, a little screen grab. We got XRP in the last 24 hours. At the time he did the screen grab, it was 26.6 cents. I'll give you my honest opinion. Look, I said a little bit of it earlier in this video. I don't think that XRP is in a meaningful way decoupling from Bitcoin. I think it's going to happen mostly in slow motion. There could be some sort of catalyst that really makes it launch up, and then maybe it never behaves the same ever again. Maybe that could happen. I personally don't think that we are there yet. And there can be, despite the fact that XRP is the least correlated, that and XLM out of the top 10 cryptocurrencies, I still think if you just zoom out on a chart, you can still see that it's still all moving together. So it's good to see stuff like this, and so I'm on board with you. And I don't mean to sound negative. I hope it's not coming across as I don't intend, in a way I don't intend. But I'm optimistic. Yeah, eventually I think there's going to be a decoupling. I just don't think that the price action today is necessarily an indication of that. I think if you look over the next few months of price action, yeah, there's going to be these parabolic moves up that appear independent. But on the whole, fast forward 1 year and then look over that 12-month period, and I think you're going to see that outside of parabolic rallies, which I suspect could happen over that time frame, outside of those, you're still going to see that it's going to be that's my prediction there, without making a price prediction. I suspect that will be the case. Now, I want it to detach. I think it's going to happen, but I do think we need to let the asset class mature as a whole, and let individual investors really parse out the differences between cryptocurrencies before you see that happen on a larger scale. Next, here's a tweet from Lemon Mule, who tagged me along with a bunch of others. And it was a link to this article from NASDAQ, which I'm just going to be brief about. And shout out to you, Lemon Mule. I do appreciate you tagging me here. Earnings preview. Western Union Q4 earnings expected to decline. The market expects Western Union to deliver a year-over-year decline in earnings on lower revenues when it reports results for the quarter ended December 2019. This widely known consensus outlook is important in assessing the company's earnings picture, but a powerful factor that might influence its near-term stock price is how the actual results compare to these estimates. And that's fair enough. If the estimate's too high, someone says, okay, fine, maybe they performed relatively reasonably. I'm not stating that case, but hey, maybe. And so the XRP community, look, I'm with you. I am Mr. XRP Bull, but I'm also a realist here. And I don't think it's the case in 2020 that even though Western Union could adopt RippleNet technology utilizing on-demand liquidity, understand that they have very efficient treasuries in a way that, the second closest competitor, it's not even close. And so understand that those remittance companies around the world that have the least efficient treasuries, Nostro accounts the world over, are going to have the greatest pain points. So, frankly, to be perfectly honest with you, Western Union stands the least to gain from XRP adoption, but there are so many other companies out there, remittance companies, banks, financial institutions, that are paying larger entities to tap into those Nostro accounts, and it would make all the sense in the world to utilize on-demand liquidity, XRP, as a bridge currency. It doesn't mean that Western Union wouldn't get there. Of course, there's still that issue of dormant capital that they could free up. But even then, you still need to have the XRP ecosystem, specifically on-demand liquidity. You need to have corridors developed, actually adopted. You need additional regulatory clarity in all sorts of geographic regions the world over. And this is going to take time. And so it's not to say that Western Union shouldn't ultimately jump on board utilizing on-demand liquidity. It's just, look, they're good. It's going to take time. That's my personal opinion on that. But that is it for this video. I am not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything, because if anything that I say or write, that would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo!